Hey everybody, when we first decided to combine Stellar with JAX and started our Eclectic American Roots series in March, we thought we would entertain people sitting at home during the coronavirus for a few weeks. Each week we added another matinee show, but the sequestering just kept going. Leaving the house is still an issue today. So we've continued our series of Roots music specials aimed at putting money in the pockets of our musicians through your donations to the program. Needless to say, musicians need your help more than ever. They still have grocery bills and rent payments, and most of them still have no paying gigs on the horizon. So please, dig deep today. Help them continue to make music for you. I am proud to announce that today's episode is The Women of Western Swing. Starting in the 1930s, Western Swing was dominated by males as big bands traveled all over the country playing at dance halls and roadhouses when they weren't performing on their radio shows. Anita O'Day and Midge Williams sang with some of the early bands, but it wasn't until the wartime years that females began to join Western swing bands as vocalists. Still, it was rare to see women performing in bands of the day. As Western swing gained popularity and Hollywood began recognizing its potential, more women had a chance to shine. Cindy Walker was just beginning her writing and performing career in 1940, and Bing Crosby had a hit with her song, Lone Star Trail, which helped kickstart her career.
In my heart there is a rankling to big ankling on old Pinto down the Lone Star Trail.
Walker eventually teamed up with Bob Wills, and he recorded over 50 of her compositions. Classics like Miss Molly, Bubbles in My Beer, and I Hear You Talkin'. Walker wrote her first song, Dusty Skies, at age 12. She also had a career as a singer and a Hollywood actress, but it was her writing that has inspired the current generation. Women still weren't big in the Western swing genre in the 1950s, but all the male stars recorded her music. Hank Snow, Webb Pierce, Gene Autry, Spade Cooley, and many more. In recent years, more and more women have come into the spotlight to make their presence known. Hot Club of Cowtown and K.D. Lang, as examples, made a big splash, and the long-running Asleep at the Wheel has always had female vocalists and musicians in its shows. Today, we celebrate the women of Western swing. Bands like the Quavy Sisters, the Carolyn Sills Combo, and Big Cedar Fever are all outstanding. Individuals who've made a mark include Carolyn Martin, Rose Sinclair, Sophia Johnson, and our host today, Cheryl Desiree. Let's kick off our show today with this classic Cindy Walker number from the Quavy Sisters.
I love to lie and listen to the music while the wind is strumming a sagebrush guitar, while over yonder hill the moon is climbing. It always finds me wishing on a star.
What do you know? It's morning already. It's the dawning, so silver and pale. It's time to climb into my saddle and ride the Navajo Trail.
Guitar, while over yonder hill the moon is climbing. It always finds me wishing on a star.
What do you know? It's morning already. That's the dawning, so silver and pale. It's time I climb into my saddle and ride the Navajo Trail. It's time to climb into my saddle and ride the Navajo Trail.
And ride the Navajo Trail. And ride the Navajo Trail.
With the show celebrating the music of Cindy Walker, you can bet we have assembled an all-female cast that pays loving tribute to this musical pioneer. Our host today is the Academy of Western Artists Western Swing Female of the Year. She put a tribute show together at the Ameripolitan Awards in Memphis that people are still talking about today. Members of Cheryl's Sisters of Swing band are like a who's who of modern Western Swing females. Grace Adele, Karen Biller, Rosie Flores, Stacy Lou Gassé, Sunshine Jackson, Sophia Johnson, Brennan Lee, Wendy Newcomer, Georgia Parker, Katie Shore, and Rose Sinclair. You'll see them perform later in the show during our segment paying homage to Cindy Walker. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome today's host, Cheryl Desiree.
Please welcome my first guest, Stacy Lee Gassé, all the way up. Where are you in Canada, girl? Why do I
all the way in Ontario,
all the way
Canada,
in Ontario,
just outside of Toronto, in a little place called Waterloo.
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 All right. Well, Stacy is one of my absolute favorite singers, just like ever, and she fronts the incredible Western Swing Authority, and they just really are. So, Hannah Bun, I know what you're going to say to this question, but I might ask it anyway. If you could have written a Cindy Walker tune, which one would it have been?
All right. Now, there are so many because she was just such an amazing writer. But I have to, and I know you know the answer to this. I'm going to have to go with You Don't Know Me because here's the thing. If you can write a song that anyone in any genre can cover and make their own, and it's still so universal, I want to write that song. That's the one. It touches everybody. My favorite version of the song is Ray Charles.
Absolutely.
And that's not Western Swing at all, but man, if you can be a writer that's so broad in your appeal, then that's the song I want to write. Yeah. Although my daughter would probably want me to have written Miss Molly because her name's Molly. But,
I bet.
Oh, have you seen Miss Molly? Her cheeks rosy red, her lips are soft as satin, and they taste like gingerbread. Whoa, me, oh my Miss Molly, I'm in love with you. Oh, me, oh my Miss Molly, won't you say you love me too?
So, I love that. But I would pick You Don't Know Me.
Yeah, it's so fantastic. And you just nailed that one, just nailed the fire out of it. At our Cindy show a couple years ago.
Oh, that was
some great footage of that.
Best day ever.
Wasn't it? Gosh, it's difficult to explain to folks who weren't there for those couple days, but I just try to explain to people that there was such a palpable reverence. Like there was just no ego. It was just such a special time of community within our little group of ladies, and it was, man, if I could recreate that every year, I would. It was just such a special day.
And I think there was just a power in that it was just an all-female. There was really, I love your word reverence. I think that's exactly what it felt like. There was just such a deep respect for the songs and a deep respect for each other that was. I remember not being able to stop crying that day. It was just so special. And I walked kind of out of there thinking, wow, like not only was it a great performance day, but it was a wonderful like sisterhood moment, I think.
It felt really special. And I know
really did.
You'll see folks that Rosalie Maphis was actually in attendance that day. And a lot of us got to sit kind of literally at the foot of the master and get to chit chat with her. And she spoke to us about having hosted Cindy Walker in her home and gave us some stories about having breakfast with her. What a special day, that moment alone. Goodness.
Everything about it was special.
So way up in the frozen North, girl, tell us how the West called to you. How did Western music steal your heart?
Well, the funny thing about that is that it was mostly the man of the dreams that brought it to me. When I grew up, I was mostly into R&B and Motown. That's what I grew up on, and I listened to a lot of pop music. And then when I started dating Shane, who is he is the leader of the Western Swing Authority and my husband now. We've been together for almost 25 years now. And when we met, when I was 20, so I was quite young, And he mostly introduced me to the traditional sounds that I do so respect now. So I started mostly in the traditional sense, and then he was a huge Western swing fan. And so through him, I got totally introduced to all the good stuff. And man, we just haven't looked back.
Well, we're all so glad for it. Y'all are doing the Lord's work and doing it pristinely, if I might say. So big fans. If you want to go ahead and share one of your fantastic videos and set it up for us. You know my personal favorite, but I'll let you pick.
Well, I'm going to say I almost want to do, well, I'm going to do Sweet Harriet because I know that's the one that you like.
I do. I love it. So much fun, you guys.
Sweet Harriet, walking down the lane, and swing that thing with all you got. Boys all go insane. Don't run with If Daddy found her in that dive, he swear the girl's possessed. But the truth tells I'll take a jive. To them she's effortless, but she always one more day takes a sweet sin. Sweet Harriet, walking down the lane, and swing that thing with all you got. The boys all go the same. No, you're
So we have 4 full-length albums out now. That one was on the third, the third of 4. And I would say that's probably the most recognizable Western Swing Authority song that we have.
So I'm sure you get this question here and there, maybe not so much when you guys are on the road and people know how great you are and what y'all are all about. But if you're talking to someone who's maybe not so familiar with Western Swing, how would you present that to them? Give me your elevator pitch to a new fan.
My elevator pitch. Well, you know, a lot of people describe it, and we describe it to a lot of people as cowboy jazz, hillbilly jazz. You know, it's got all the good things, the improvisation of jazz music and swing music. It's got a great beat, but it's got all of the instrumentation that we just know and we love from all the traditional sounds. So it's just got, you know, string bands and the it's thumping. It's great. And so if I was in an elevator, I would just ask somebody do you like to feel good? Because if you like to feel good, you should listen to this music, because not only does it make you want to dance, but even the sad songs sound happy.
That's right.
Right? Like if I hear a song like Yearning, don't you just like, right? And then you listen to the words and you're like, oh my God, like it's actually kind of heart-wrenching, but it's like, you know?
Absolutely.
It's the happiest sounding sad music you're ever going to hear. What's not to like?
Absolutely. You know what? I think as gloomy as I tend to be as a writer, it was probably important that I landed in Western Swing.
Oh, Lord.
So I can dress up all the sad and some happy, and it might take 6 or 7 listens before someone goes, oh, dang.
Ouch, but nice. I know. I can't write a happy song to save my life. So don't you? We are kindred, my sister.
That's why we're in country music.
No,
well,
all broken hearts
down
over here.
with us today.
Oh, I'm so
do you want
happy
to talk a little bit about someone who influenced you? Maybe I know we were chatting about our dear friend Carolyn Martin.
We have always been big fans of the Time Jumpers. And so, you know, Miss Carolyn and the late Don Sears have been, you know, and beyond that, obviously. But after we watched the Time Jumpers PBS special, Shane had one of these moments, and we decided, you know, we're going to do this. We're going to make this Western Swing band. This is 11 years ago now. About 5 years into that, we were kind of chatting back and forth, and Shane had mentioned that he had seen Miss Carolyn on Twitter, and she did a little post about something, and he was like, oh, that was so great. You know, we should play together sometime. And she sent him a private message and said, yes, we should. And Shane was like, oh my God. We had this moment where we're like, okay, well, let's do it then. So she and David were passing through Canada, believe it or not. And they drove down, and so we did 2 shows together. And then from there, it's just been such a generous and heartfelt friendship. They've been unbelievably supportive of this little big band from Canada. They've introduced us to so many people. We've gone down to visit them in Nashville. Now they're in Fort Wayne, Indiana. And actually, we got a chance to co-write one of my favorite songs on the new record, Big Deal. And it's called In the Middle of the Song. So that right there was, I mean, what a bucket list. She's such a classy and the most kind lady I think that I've ever met.
What are your hopes and for the future of Western Swing? For me, it's been lovely to experience firsthand, and just like you were talking about with Miss Carolyn, is kind of throwing the rope back. So many of our mentors have done that kindness for us.
Oh, absolutely. For me, my hope is that the genre continues to be broad and open, and not afraid to be as much of a fusion as I know that it is. I know that's what spoke to me when I started singing this kind of music. It's so amazing to be able to sing a kind of music that takes in all of my different experiences, right?
Absolutely.
I can sing some R&B, I can do some blues, I can do some jazz, I can do some drop dead country. We got some bluegrass, like everything seems to fit. So that's what I love about it. And I also hope that while paying respect to the traditions and all of the songs that we all know and love, I want to hear new tunes too. Like I'm so proud of the fact that we are, you and us and many of we've got so many amazing new songs. It's this new vintage sound, and I think it's so fresh, and I think that's the thing that's going to keep this genre living forever, because it has to. It can't disappear.
It has to. You're right. I'm always so encouraged and impressed by all of everyone's work ethic to that end.
Yes.
Keeping it fresh and keeping the material new. I think that's such an important part. As much as I love those old classics and as much as we all sing them, and it's important to do that. It's absolutely vital that we keep the voices fresh. Keep the subject matters fresh.
Yeah.
Keep pushing the envelope with what we're talking about, and talk to the people who are here today.
But
do it with fiddle and steel. Why
That's
not?
it. And you know what? That's the blood. That's the blood that leads to the heart of this music. I think is the fact that it relates to everything. It relates to now. It relates to then. I think it's such a fascinating genre, and I'm so proud to be a part of it.
Absolutely. Why don't we take this opportunity to segue right into a fantastic Dawn Sears number? Yeah. Why don't we go with Sweet Memories? It's just, it's too beautiful not to, folks. And if you haven't heard it, enjoy it now.
Sweet memories, those sweet
anything you've got going on with the Western Swing Authority you want to keep us abreast of?
Well, I love that word. Of course. You know what? We've got some pretty exciting things on the horizon. We've had, obviously, like the rest of the world, we've had, the 6 month shutdown, and so we've had some interesting things come up. We've been able to get together only once with the full band and do an online show. So I know we'll be doing some more online shows, which for us is amazing because we're 7 pieces and we're in Canada. So the borders are closed. But even before the borders were closed, it's really stinking expensive to get 7 people around with a steel guitar and a big old bass, right? So for us, this new online community is actually opening our music up to a whole bunch of people that we might not have been able to get to in in real time.
That's a
So-
fantastic point. I hadn't thought of that, but you're right.
well, that's,
You
you
really
know, I'm
are.
trying to look on the bright side. It's been real hard to look on the bright side, but that's been one takeaway from this that I think on the other side will be a beautiful thing. We have just signed a record deal down here, so that's
What?
kind of cool. And we're working on a video project with one of our songs that is in relation to just the closed venues, and we have a song called "This Old Bar," and it's the last song on the latest record, Big Deal. And we grew up, our band grew up. We were born and grew up over the past 11 years at a little place called the Commercial Tavern out in Maryhill, Ontario. It's about 15 minutes from our house, but you'd never find it. And it's like walking back in time. It's like walking through, you know. Ooh, wah, wah, wah.
I love it.
Got the, you know, the swinging doors and the tumbleweed and the, you know, the pictures and the dust in the dance floor. We wrote the song specifically about that place, but the idea for the video is that, you know, everybody has a place. Everybody has that place that you go and, you know, it feels
Yeah.
like home. It's like the Cheers, and so many of those places are closing right now.
Smokey played fiddle with his mountaineers, and Edna is good wife of 50-odd years, sat at the same table in the very same chair. Folks somehow knew that you just don't sit there.
Though the faces have faded.
And it's heartbreaking, not only for
Really
the
is.
arts, but for these places that have, you know, that have held people's memories and their families and their friends for so many years. So anyway, we're trying to get a little something together that will just maybe bring a little bit more illumination to that fact with that song. So keep your eyes open for that. And, you know, there's always new music bubbling away. Shane and I do a fun thing on Friday nights called Honky Tonk Cocktail Hour. So that's our online thing where we
Your
play.
posters for those have been cracking me up consistently. I love them.
You know what? If you can't make yourself laugh, you do. There is nothing that's funny right now. So we are doing the best that we can. But yeah,
Right.
there's lots going on with the Western Swing Authority. So come follow us on YouTube and Facebook and all those places, Instagram. And
Well,
see you
super
down the
huge
road.
congratulations on the record deal. I want all the
Thank
details
you.
on that
I will tell you.
privately. Text
I
me
will tell
later.
you.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Best of luck to the girls in the school year, and
Thank you.
breathe, Mama. It's gonna
I'm
get
great.
easier.
You know what? This has been the most welcome distraction and the most beautiful chat.
This one is my girl, Katie Lang. This is from, I think, 1987, 88-ish. I'll go hard in the paint for Katie Lang any day, because without her music, I don't know that I would be doing the music I do. I certainly would not have made Dreamy the way I did had it not been for Shadowland. So let me give you her little kind of Memphis swing take on Sugar Moon. Here we go. Katie Lang in the Reclines.
Oh, and it's sugar cane time, and around about June, I'll be walking with my sugar, 'neath that old sugar moon. All the love that I miss, I'll be getting it soon. I'll be getting it from my sugar, 'neath that old sugar moon. I can see it's right now. Get the calendar out and draw a circle around. Day we're heaven bound. Oh, when it's sugar cane time, around about June, I'll be walking with my sugar, 'neath that old
Hello, good people. And you bad people, too. We don't want to discriminate here. Big Sandy, happy to be back again this week as we celebrate the women of Western swing. You know, perhaps more than any other genre of country music, the Western swing world was heavily male-dominated. But today we're going to take a look at some of those wonderful exceptions to what is no longer the rule. Abby Neal was a native of Brookville, Pennsylvania, and lived in various places throughout the country, appearing on regional barn dances and local TV programs in the 40s and 50s as part of the Golden West Girls. After putting in a lot of time of working for other people, she eventually was able to form her own group, and thank heavens that this rare and precious TV footage was preserved. So let's take a look now at Abby Neal and the Ranch Girls as they perform some really swinging Western and folk tunes. Take it away, ladies.
Riding down to Santa Fe, just beyond the mountains and across the way. See that sun seems to low in the west, o'er the land I'm loving the best.
Hi friends, I'm Abby Neal, and the Ranch Girls are all here with me again today to sing and play some of your favorite folk music and Western songs.
She's a Texas tornado and she hails from Laredo, but she never could be true. She's as cute as a daisy and she drives the guys all crazy and they don't know what to do. All the boys hang around her just like a honeybee. She snaps her fingers and they drop right to their knees, and though they'd like to persuade her, she's a Texas tornado and wants to be alone until the right guy comes along. All the boys hang around her just like a honeybee. She snaps her fingers and they drop right to their knees, and though they'd like to persuade her, she's a Texas tornado and wants to be alone until the right guy comes along. The rock bubble gets let its way to rock your baby to sleep. The rock bubble gives guarantees, put your baby to sleep. But it won't do a thing unless you sing the rock bubble to the beat. The rock bubble, 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 rock Rock my baby, oh rock my baby, sleeping in the big tree top. When the wind begins to blow, it's real gonna rock and rock. And when the limb breaks, the cradle will fall, the baby's gonna blow his top. Rock my boogie, rock my boogie, rock my 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 rock my boogie, rock my. There was no woman who made a home in a great big broken down shoe. She had so doggone many kids, she didn't know what to do. So come on, baby, go to sleep and shut your eyes. Rock my boogie, rock my boogie, rock my 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 rock my boogie, rock my. Rock Way down Columbus, Georgia, 1 week back in Tennessee. Way down Columbus, Talkin, friends have turned their back on me. Go and leave me if you wish to. Never let me cross your mind. In your heart, you love another. Leave me, darling, I don't mind. Oh, thank you, Last night, as I lay sleeping, I dreamed I held you in my arms. When I woke, I was mistaken. I was peeping through the bars. Go and leave me if you wish to. Never let me cross your mind. In your heart, you love another. Leave me, darling, I don't mind. Leave me, darling, I don't mind.
Columbus Stockade Blues. If you like any particular one of the gals that you want to write to, that's quite all right, too. You can write to June, Candy, Susie, Carol, or any of us. And until we hear from you or see you again, this is Abby Neal to say so long. Take good care of yourself, and God bless you.
Riding down the Santa Gate, just beyond the mountains and across the way. So it's burned the trail and yonder we'll go, riding down the Santa Gate, hey, riding down the Santa Gate.
That makes me happy right there. A woman who worked so hard to carve out her own career path with her swinging Western folk and boogie numbers. Abby Neal. And the Ranch Girls. All right, this next artist achieved tremendous success as a country and Western artist who crossed over into the pop field. But she also left us some really great takes on some Western swing classics. I'm talking about Patsy Cline. Let's take a look at Patsy right now.
Well, what we really need right now is a change of pace. So here is a wonderful lady, Patsy Cline, and she has got the blues, got the blues, got the blues.
Got a feeling cause the blues, oh Lord, since my baby said goodbye. I don't know what I'm gonna do. All I do is sit and cry. Oh Lord, that last long day he said goodbye. Well, Lord, I thought I would die. And it's not the kind of loving, Lord, I love to hear him when he calls me sweet baby. What a beautiful
Texas home, here I come. I've been too long on the run. Gonna have my fling, gonna have my fun. Hear the cowboys sing when the roundup's done. Gonna ride pinto once more by the Alamo. See my gal and my pal in the old corral once more. So I'm hitting the trail to the setting sun. Texas home, never more too long. Here I come. Texas home, here I come. Been too long on the run. Gonna have my fling, gonna have my fun. Hear the cowboys sing when the roundup's done. Gonna ride up and go once more by the Alamo. See my gal and my pal and the old corral once more. So I'm hitting the trail to the setting sun. Oh, lady, lady, hey, here I come. So I'm hitting the trail to the setting sun. Texas home, never more too long. Here I come.
The yodeling blonde bombshell, they called her, Carolina Cotton. Seen there with a host of fine western frocked fillies. Who writes this stuff here? Oh, and I think Merle Travis was in there too somewhere. Carolina Cotton. We're going to talk about her again in the next segment as we visit some of Bob Wills' Western Playgirls. I'll be right back.
Our next guest, Carolyn Sills, out in California. How you doing, Carolyn?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us.
Of course, of course. I started more as a Patsy Cline country fan, and then as I started to kind of look at who else played the songs that she played, I realized that she shared a big catalog with Bob Wills. They did a lot of the same songs in their repertoire, and that was one that got me introduced to Bob Wills and the Playboys, and so thanks for playing.
So we are here today to talk about something that we bonded over several years ago because I love with your music. And let's see. Oh, gosh. When did we meet? What was that, like 2016 at a Metropolitan in Austin?
Austin, yeah.
Yeah.
Texas.
Yeah, we were jamming with Johnny Bush in the lobby.
Yep.
It was the weirdest night. Just sit there and go,
right, this was happening. Yeah.
Be cool. That's fine. Anywho, so if you could have written any Cindy Walker tune, which one would it have been? Or 5 or 10, you know.
I know. I mean, I'd take any of them, really. But, man, if I had to pick a favorite, I mean, I chose that one that I performed at your show in Memphis, Bubbles in My Beer, because that always resonated with me, not just because I'm a beer drinker, but also because it always seemed like a nice kind of everyman song. I mean, there's not, I don't think any person out there that goes to bars that can't sit down and relate to what she's singing about there. And the way she delivers that song lyrically, it's specific enough, but obscure enough that you can, you know, it's like a horoscope. I mean, I could see many people having a variety of problems that they could apply to that song.
Yeah, that's a great point. She really did have a knack for that. Mm-hmm. You know, that's why her songs were always such hits. Didn't matter what genre, because there was a truth in there, a universal truth she was really good at honing in on.
Yeah, specific enough that people can relate to.
Yeah.
Yeah, regardless of what their history.
Absolutely.
And so I always loved that. Yeah.
All right.
Also, your tune, Don't Be Ashamed of Your Age. That's one that we perform sometimes in our band, just because to me, like, that's just a fun message, and that's something else I loved about her, that she kind of, it seemed like she would pick something, like we joke about those being like assignment songs, like, I just want to write about this, you know, I want to write a song that makes people feel okay about getting older, you know, and how they're still, even though they've, you know, they're not the kids anymore, and so, just another one of her that I absolutely love.
Absolutely. I loved the playfulness that she brought to her writing. Sometimes I think as a songwriter, I get a little too serious and I think, oh, that's so flippant. I don't know. Is that even worth writing? It's so silly. But then I remember I play Western swing music and it could be fun and it could be dancey and it could be joyous. And that's okay. And that's why we play this music we love, right? So I can play the sad stuff and we can play the danceable stuff. Speaking of which, girl, you want to segue into one of the videos you sent us?
Oh, sure. I would love to. Absolutely. Yeah.
What did you send in?
What's that? Oh, so yes. As I was saying, the one video I sent in was my performance of Bubbles in My Beer at your Cindy Walker show in Memphis at the Ameripolitan Awards. And
nailed it.
Yeah, just a phenomenal time. I mean, that's just one thing I love about Western Swing is just that camaraderie in the band setting, you know, and you get all those people together. I know
there's no ego.
We'd all worked on it on our own, but as soon as we got into, you know, Dale's basement and started rehearsing and everyone's coming together, I mean, just the vibrancy of those songs and just, you know, the skill of all the instrumentalists over there and everybody singing. I mean, it just brought it all together and it was one of the best.
It's a really special time. I don't know that I've matched it. I know that I haven't matched it since. It was such a special reverence in the room. You could feel it, you know. We chose the right gals for this project and it showed, I think. So I was really proud of that show. And thank you so much for being a part of it. We could not have pulled it off without you. Man, it was fun. But so y'all have a look at our Cindy Walker video from Memphis.
Well, here's a video that the Carol & Sills combo made. It's actually not us performing live, but there is one zombie shot of me in there somewhere, and you have to find it. But it's kind of a found footage of, you know, vintage and old zombie monster movie, just awesomeness that we love. And we put it to our original tune called Bad For You, which is off our first record called the Carol & Sills Combo.
Why am I so good at
All right. So I find that I get a lot of folks who are kind of unfamiliar with what Western swing music is or Western music, or at least don't have a very clear view of that. If you were to give an elevator pitch to a new fan or someone interested in music we're playing, what would you say?
Oh man, I mean, I would say if you want to get into country music, start with Western swing. I mean, there's so many places you can go from there, but that is a beautiful education to get from the beginning because even if you're a fan of, say, outlaw country, I mean, Merle Haggard, Willie Nelson, all those guys pay so much tribute to Bob Wills and Milton Brown, and all the people that really got them into the music that they're into. So if you can start there and grow from it and find your place in country music, I think that's a great place to start. And one beautiful thing about it too is that you find a lot of different styles of not just country music but any music where you have one superstar in a band, like you have the lead singer, you have like a shredder on the guitar, and everyone else is kind of there filling in the space. But for Western swing, I mean, every single player in these bands is an all-star, and you can devote an entire career to learning Western swing steel guitar, Western swing rhythm guitar, accordion, fiddle. The singers, I mean, it's really a training course, if you will, if you want to get into country music. And if you start there, I mean, you're only going to go better places. So it's a wonderful place to kind of get your start in musical education in country music.
Fantastic. I love that bit of advice, starting there, because you're right. It is such a beautiful amalgamation of so many styles, because folks will hear the elements of other things they recognize and love and maybe won't even put it together why they like it, but they know they like it. That's brilliant.
Yeah. Many country music genres are, and rightly so, they're very protective and very specific about what they play. But I feel like with Western swing, it was kind of an open playing field. If you showed up at a Western swing show and they went into a Hawaiian song, like you wouldn't find it all strange because it's, it's steel guitar and all the influence from Hawaiian music, or same with like a polka or a blues or, calypso, versus, showing up at a different country show and hearing that, you might think it's out of place, but it's kind of, if you want to learn everything, it's a good place to start.
That's what I love about swing is it's really the servant of the groove. That's all it's about. We're the servant of the song and the feel.
Right. Just get people dancing. Yeah.
So I think that's something that makes that very unique. All right, honey, last question for you.
Yeah.
So what is in the future, or what is your hope for the future of Western music, both personally and as a genre?
Well, I hope it keeps going. I mean, that's something we've been really trying to do, and we consider ourselves kind of, just stewards of the genre, not in the sense that, we're trying to reinvent the wheel, but keep it going with people.
Keep it rolling.
Yeah, exactly. And it's got to be more than just, repeating the covers of the bands of yesteryear, but also writing new music in that style.
Absolutely.
And people to welcome that and accept that. And that's, obviously what's been so amazing about the Ameripolitans is just there's all these new artists, that are making new music, using style. That's what we've actually found just living out here in California. I mean, when we started meeting people at the Santa Clarita Cowboy Fest or up at the Western Swing Society in Sacramento, I mean, everyone's been so welcoming and just so excited that there's like consider us young still, like a younger generation of people that are getting into the style of music and keeping it alive and respecting their elders and doing their homework. And I think that's a big part of it too. I mean, that's the beauty of music. I mean, it's not just, you want to write a song and you want to play it for people. I mean, there's such a history, and it's such a big part of our country's history. And, I think Western swing does a beautiful job of kind of symbolizing that. So
absolutely. Well, thank you so much for holding it down on the West Coast. I love what y'all are doing out there.
Thank you.
Constantly entertained and amused, and just loving watching what y'all are up to.
Thanks, Cheryl. You too.
Yeah. Well, thanks for joining us today.
Of course.
All right. Our best to everyone.
Yes.
Yeah.
Same
Hug
here.
sunshine
Hello,
for me.
TV land. I will.
All right. Speaking of Merle Travis and Judy Hayden, I wanted to take a minute to shout out a buddy of mine, Tom Bresch, who happens to be Merle's son. We actually got together a few years ago for a show here locally in East Nashville at a place called the Lipstick Lounge, and we sang for you Spoon and Moon.
Well, baby, here we are, just you and me in the car, in a little lover's lane tonight. Now, baby, cars don't talk, so don't you get out and walk if I squeeze you a little too tight.
Now, I don't mean to complain. It's a lovely lover's lane with everything so peachy and still.
I like it here.
But it's hard to relax I'm one for facing the facts. Just take a drink of scraping over the hill.
Well, that ain't nothing but the moon.
Hey, kinda gives me the creeps.
Oh, it's a big yellow moon.
I got a feeling he peeps.
But moonlight is just right for lovers apart.
But I'm the kind who likes a little kiss in the dark.
But it's a crooning moon.
Okay then, have him sing.
No, it's a spooning moon.
To me, that don't mean a thing. The light's so bright that it bothers.
Yeah, but our mothers and fathers knew that
It's a spooning moon.
Now, baby, give it some thought. Don't you think that we ought to listen to a few more words?
No, sir, no,
The
sir.
moon has always shined, and it don't think that you mind. It never bothered the bees and the birds.
Well, I ain't no bird and no bee. You're you and I'm me. And I just don't like your lecturing tone. I just hate to be bored.
All right, I'll crank up the Ford, and it'll be a pleasure driving you home.
But honey, you like the moon.
Move over a little bit.
It's a big yellow moon.
Come on, give me the keys.
Oh no, baby, can't you take a little joke?
You know what? I can have more fun just drinking a Coke.
But it's a crooning moon.
Come on, you're starting to smear your makeup.
It's a spooning moon.
I'm starting to smear mine.
I wanna be kissed.
Okay, if you insist.
It's a spooning moon. It's a spooning moon.
I love you, Cheryl.
Ah, that was fun. We might take this show on the road. I don't know.
Dusty skies, I can't see nothing in sight. Good old Dan, you'll have to guide me right. For we lose our way and the cattle will stray, and we lose them all tonight. This is not the mournful cry of a world-weary man, but the poignant insight of a 12-year-old poet. Cindy Walker was born in the summer of 1918 on a farm near Mart, Texas. Her grandfather was a hymn writer and her mother was an accomplished pianist, so it was no surprise that young Cindy made her professional debut at the tender age of 7, singing and dancing in a Christmas pageant. By 16 and still writing songs, she was dancing full-time in a club owned by the great theater impresario Billy Rose. On the side, she wrote Casa de Mañana, which became a theme song for orchestra leader Paul Whiteman and her first hit. Cindy would go on to become one of American music's most prolific writers, charting hits over 5 decades. Being cut by artists as diverse as Al Dexter and Walter Schrum, Eddie Arnold, Spade Cooley, Gene Autry, The Byrds, Ray Charles, Elvis Presley, Jim Reeves, Merle Haggard, Ricky Skaggs. The list goes on and on and on.
One night when the moon was bright on a moonlit glade, that is where I found my little Cherokee maid. The memory of that night of love is lingering yet, and I know I never will forget my little Cherokee maid, and I love her so. And though we're far apart, I know I'll never be trading my love for her for anybody else's heart. Someday I'll make a trip back to that Cherokee strip, and I'll carry her away with me. And straight as an arrow flies, we'll ride to paradise. My sweet little chickadee, my little Cherokee maiden, and me right on.
What fans may not realize about Cindy Walker is she did actually try her hand at Hollywood for a bit before deciding songwriting was for her and settling back near her home in Mart, Texas. But if you want to do a deep dive on YouTube, I highly recommend it. You can find some really lovely clips of her in old Western movies with Gene Autry, doing some great stuff with Merle Travis and the Sons of the Pioneers. There's some kitschy moments where you can tell she's in a movie and she's playing a part.
I'm simply wild about a certain man I know. Oh, he's not a gadabout and he loves me so. Oh, every time he looks at me, I run a fever 103. I'm simply wild about and I like to shout. Oh, I'm just a lonely child in your west so wild. Oh, 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 and I need sympathy, so won't you baby me? Oh, 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 don't you know this is leap year? So come to my arms, I need you my dear. Now don't you try to run or I'll pull my gun. Oh, oh, oh. I'd like to learn to fool with a boy like you. Oh, oh, oh. I think I'd understand if you held my hand. Oh, oh, oh.
But she knew where her heart is, and that was back in Mart, Texas, where she spent most of her life just writing and writing and writing. Cindy Walker wrote over 100 songs for Bob Wills and the Texas Playboys. Hits like Bubbles in My Beer.
Apart from the laughter and the cheer, while scenes from my life rise before me, I'm watching the bubbles in my beer. A vision of someone who loved me brings along sanity to my eyes. I know that my life's been a failure, just watching the bubbles in my beer. I'm seeing all those that I've traveled, a road paved with heartaches and tears, and I'm seeing a path that I've wasted while watching the bubbles in my beer. I think of the hearts that I've broken and the golden chances that pass me by. Those dreams that I had are now empty as bubbles in my beer.
And perhaps the most stunning tale of unrequited love ever set to music, You Don't Know Me.
You give your hand to me, and then you say hello, and I can hardly speak. My heart is beating so, and anyone could tell. You think you know me well, but you don't know me. No, you don't know the one who dreams of you at night and longs to kiss your lips and longs to hold you tight. To you I'm just a friend, that's all I've ever been, but you don't know me. For I never knew the art of making love, though my heart ached with love for you. Afraid and shy, I let my chance go by, the chance you might have loved me too. You give your hand to me, and then you say goodbye. I watch you walk away with teardrops in my eyes. You'll never, never know the one who loves you so. No, you don't know me.
It has been estimated that more than 500 of Walker's songs have been recorded, and that her songs have made the top 40 charts, country or pop, more than 400 times. So it's no wonder that Miss Walker is a member of the Texas Music Hall of Fame, the Country Music Hall of Fame, the Nashville Songwriters Hall of Fame, and in 2001, CMT even honored her as one of the top 40 greatest women in country music. I'd like to share with you a story as recalled by Kyle Young, CEO of the Country Music Hall of Fame and Museum, of a phone call that he received from Cindy some months before she passed back in 2006. She said, "Well, I've got all these songs that I've written, and they're my babies, and I want my babies to be in a really safe place, and I think the Hall of Fame would be the place for them." Young was flabbergasted, but Ms. Walker, who was inducted into the Hall in 1997, wasn't done. She went on to say that if we would be so kind as to take her songs, she'd also like her royalties to come to the museum.
Please welcome the newest member of the Country Music Hall of Fame, Cindy Walker.
Look out there. Thank you so much. It's a wonderful thrill to be in Nashville and to be here on the stage, and I thank you so much. And I thank everybody that's ever sung a song of mine or liked it. It's wonderful to know. But I'd like to read you a little poem that I wrote. It's true. And it's, if you don't mind, I'll read it to you. In the 1980s, my mother bought me a dress for a BMI affair. And she said, when they put you in the Hall of Fame, that's the dress I want you to wear. And I said, oh, Mama, the Hall of Fame, why, that will never be. And the years went by, but my mother's words remained in my memory. And I know tonight she'd be happy. Though she's gone now to her rest, but I think of all that she did for me. And tonight I'm wearing this dress.
On March 23rd, 2006, months after she had placed that call, Miss Cindy Walker died at the age of 87. The next year, 10 boxes arrived at the museum. The carefully packed parcels were filled with papers and personal effects, like the royal typewriter, decorated with a floral motif that she used. When the curatorial staff opened the first box of song lyrics, at the top, typed on personalized stationery, was a letter Walker wrote before she died. Goodbye, my darling. You have been so good to me. You have made me rich and famous. I love you. You are the reason that I am, and you are, in the Hall of Fame. I will miss you. Goodbye, your girl, Cindy Walker. Walker's typewriter is on display in the museum. The letter is not. Since Walker's death, her royalties have earned $1.4 million, which has gone into the museum's educational programs, said Kyle Young of the Country Music Hall of Fame. She's really very much a part of what you're doing there right now.
Down at that little place we used to go, and hold your hand in mine just like the old times, baby, that sure would go good. A little music and lots of time, a little dancing with your cheek to mine, with your laughter and some little sighs, when love was shining in your pretty eyes, all the way they used to shine just like the old time, baby, that sure would go good. Baby, 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 why don't you come back where you belong? I miss you in the morning, I miss you when the day is gone, and all night long. A little walk with you sure would go good. A little talk with you sure would go good. And hold you in my arms so close to me, with everything the way it used to be. Feel your lips on mine just like the old times, baby, that sure would go good. Think I'm a good old day. Don't count your chickens before they hatch. Now if you got the mind, you gonna two-time me, baby, you bet your match. If you like, you can two-time me one more time. Don't count your chickens before they hatch. You're getting to be a little bolder, 'cause you think you're the only devil on the beat. You'll find out before you're much older, I can be like the moon.
I'm throwing, I'm going away partying. A party for a dream of mine. So put me somewhere off in a corner with a glass and bottle of your party wine. Don't worry, it won't be a long party. I've been too long to get too high. It's just a sad going away party for a dream. I'm telling goodbye.
And I'm back. First, though, I'd like to remind you to take a moment to share this if you can. If you're digging what we're putting down, let people know. Thank you. All right, now let's talk about some of the women who worked with Western swing master Bob Wills over the years. There were only a handful of them throughout the decades, really, but we have a nice bunch of them lined up for you right now, ready to remind you that some of the Texas Playboys wore a dress. Ladies?
Well, what we've had lately is a revival of the Texas Playgirls that were with Bob Wills during his career. And they've even made an album that's really doing quite well. Let me introduce them to you right now. Miss Louise Rowe, Dean Moore, and Ramona Reed.
Bob had a band that he loved so, the Texas Playboys, as you all know. The story's true, but here's the rest. We've got something to confess. Some of us Texas Playboys wore a dress.
We're the Texas Playboys you seldom hear about. Our hair was curly and we wore a dress. When Mr. Wills performed, we added the charm to the swingin'est Western swing band in the West.
Miss Laura Lee on the movie screen. Evelyn and Dean sang Roosevelt Pawnee. Ramona yodelady, Darla sang and stole the show. And the bass man's name was Louise Rowe.
We're the Texas Playboys you seldom hear about. Our hair was curly and we wore a dress. When Mr. Wills performed, we added the charm to the swingin'est Western swing band in the West. We're the Texas Playboys you seldom hear about. Our hair was curly and we wore a dress. When Mr. Wills performed, we added the charm to the swingin'est Western swing band
That's just where I want to be.
3 miles south of Cashin, Arkansas. There's a general store and a cotton gin.
And the little old jail her pappy's in.
3 miles south of Cashin, Arkansas. My he
don't
wait for me.
Don't wait for she.
'Cause all the gals there have too darn much
hospitality.
Ain't no use for telephones.
Never no one home.
3 miles south of Cashin, Arkansas. Yodelee-lee, yodelee-lee, you-lar-tee, you-lar-tee, you-lar-tee. Yodelee-lee, yodelee-lee, you-lar-tee, you-lar-tee. Sunday go to meet and supper on the ground.
Gnats and skeeters buzzing all around.
3 miles south of Cashin, Arkansas. Why, there's kinfolks here and youngins there.
Granny's in her rocking chair.
3 miles south of Cashin, Arkansas. But I don't care.
She don't care.
What happens there?
What happens there?
Now, I ain't going back 'cause I ain't got
She means her railroad fare.
brother in the holler, sister on the hill.
Always torn and they always will.
3 miles south of Cashin, Arkansas. Yodelee-lee, yodelee-lee, you-lar-tee, you-lar-tee, you-lar-tee. Yodelee-lee, yodelee-lee, you-lar-tee, you-lar-tee. 3 miles south of Cashin, Arkansas.
There she is again, Carolina Cotton, who really was from Cache, Arkansas. Helen Hagstrom was her real name. She was really busy throughout the 40s and 50s, both with Bob Wills and with other outfits. Eventually settled down in Bakersfield, California, where she became a school teacher. Okay, now, the McKinney sisters worked with Bob Wills in the late 40s after getting their start with pop music band leader Ted Weems. I'll let McKinney sister Dean McKinney tell the story herself.
Now, friends, our next number will be I Bet You My Heart, sung by the McKinney sisters.
My name is Dean McKinney Moore. I am one of the singing McKinney sisters who worked with Bob Wills between the years of 1946 and 48, 49, somewhere in through there. I've heard so many good stories here today, I don't think I can top most of them. But the way I met Bob Wills, my sister and I were on the radio in Birmingham, Alabama, and Bob and the group were coming through Birmingham, and our radio station wanted him to hear my sister and I sing. So an interview performance was set up, and we went through it, and afterwards we chatted with Bob, and he said, "That was great, girls, and I'm expecting to start a network show pretty soon on ABC. If that comes through, I'll call you." We thought, sure you will, you know. Don't call me, I'll call you. But he did call us in a few months, and we came to California, and it opened up a brand new world for us. We did a movie short for Universal with Bob. We recorded, we toured, and did all the, well, not all the things the guys did, but we had a great time. We were never treated more respectfully than we were with those boys. We never had any problem. My husband Tiny Moore and I met on that band, and were married. And for one whole year I called him brother, and he called me sister, because I'd never been around men folk too much before, reared with 4 girls. And it was a new feeling for me. I knew I had a special feeling for him, but I assumed that's what you felt for a brother. So anyway, but I must tell you, my sister and I also did lots of middle of the road and popular music. We worked with Ted Weems in Chicago for a while, and we had just come home from Chicago when we went to work with Bob. And Bob liked to introduce us by saying, these are the McKinney sisters who got their basic training with Ted Weems. Now they're one of the Playboys.
In my adobe hacienda, there's a touch of Mexico. Cactus lovelier than orchid, blooming in the patio. The desert stars and the strum of guitars make every evening seem so sweet. In my adobe hacienda, life and love are more complete. In my adobe hacienda, there's a touch of Mexico. The cactus lovelier than orchid, blooming in the patio. The desert stars and the strum of guitars make every evening seem so sweet and lovely. In my adobe hacienda, life and love are more complete. Their life and love are complete. Mama don't allow no low-down fiddling round here. Mama don't allow no low-down fiddling round here.
Well, we don't care what Mama don't allow. We're gonna play a fiddle anyhow.
But Mama don't allow no low-down fiddling round here. Mama don't allow no guitar playing here. Mama don't allow no guitar playing round here.
Well, we don't care what Mama don't allow. They're gonna play 'em anyhow.
But Mama don't allow no guitar playing round here. Mama don't allow no rattling bones around here. Mama don't allow no rattling bones around here.
Well, we don't care what Mama don't allow. He's gonna rattle 'em anyhow.
But Mama don't allow no rattling bones around here.
Well, Mama don't allow no fancy dancing round here. Well, Mama don't allow no fancy dancing round here.
But I don't care what Mama don't allow. I'm gonna fancy dance anyhow.
Mama don't allow no fancy dancing round here.
Within my heart lies a melody, a song of old San Antone, where in dreams I live with a memory, beneath the stars all alone. It was there I found, beside the Alamo, enchantment strange as the blue up above, a moonlit path that only she would know. Still here's my broken song of love.
Moon in all your splendor, no, only my heart. Call back my rose, rose of San Antone. Lips so sweet and tender, like petals falling apart. Speak once again of my love, my
A broken song, empty words I know, still live in my heart all alone. For that moonlit path by the Alamo, and rose, my rose of San Antone.
All right, now there's my collection of some of the women who worked with Bob Wills over the years. The first one, Laura Lee Owens, All of the rest, I don't know. They are all credited incorrectly throughout the internet, all over YouTube. Don't believe what you read. I did a lot of research into this, and I know what's listed to not be true. Okay, when I come back, a group of women whose names will not be forgotten. They're of a more recent vintage. Stick around. I'll be right back as we continue to explore the women of Western swing.
Today, joining us from just down the street from me, actually, is Grace Adele from Nashville, Tennessee. How you doing?
Yip,
Howdy.
yip, yip. Oh, I'm mighty proud to be here. Howdy.
It's good to
howdy,
see you,
howdy.
girl. It's been a while.
It has been. It's been a long time. Cheryl and I have done a lot of songwriting together, and I miss doing that. We're going to have to do a Zoom writing here soon.
We do. Yeah. Well, we'll chat. I think we're supposed to be over at Wendy's soon. But thanks for joining us today. Grace Adele joining us from the Farmer and Adele, wonderful Western band here in town that I'm such a big fan of. They're playing pretty regularly when, the world is active at Station Inn, correct?
Yeah, we've been playing once a month for Tumbleweed Tuesday at the Station Inn, and right now they're doing lock-in shows, and so you can watch once a month on Tuesday. Our next one is September 29th. So it's a lock-in show until it's able to be half capacity and so forth. But you can find it on Station Inn TV, and you can find it on their Facebook page and the Farmer and Adele's Facebook page too.
Awesome.
Yeah, yip, yip,
Great.
yip.
Well, I'm glad you're getting back out there, girl. We need that Western music playing daily, especially here in Nashville. I wanted to chat with you about our hero, the great Cindy Walker. I know that there's we'll get into that love of Cindy in a bit when we talk about the videos we're going to set up and some footage that we have from our show. But if there was one song, and I have a feeling I know what everyone's going to say, but if there's a song of hers that you could have written, which would it have been?
Every song. Don't you wish you had written every song of hers?
Every single one.
Every single one. The songs just go on and on and on, and the list goes on and on. And I would love to. She's so inspiring that, she's definitely inspired me as a songwriter to try to write as many songs as she has.
That's the other
incredible.
Fantastic. There seems to be just a song for every kind of mood or occasion. Today I was getting ready and Don't Be Ashamed of Your Age came on. I was doing my gray hair and I said, yes, Cindy.
Nice.
So there really is a song for everything, I think.
Nice. And I think at the Cindy Walker tribute, you sang Going Away Party, and that lyric in there, dreams don't make a sound when they die. Isn't that beautiful?
Man.
So beautiful. Her lyrics
cry on the
Zoom.
Yeah. I loved how wonderful of a work ethic she had, how every day she was just in there writing, I don't know where I heard it, but I have heard it said that you kind of have to write the bad ones to get to the good ones. And I love that work ethic. Maybe that's what it is. I just got to be in here pounding them out too, right? Just write a couple bad ones to get them out of the way. But yeah, maybe that's the trick.
And it's all in the ear of the beholder. I actually was over at Ranger Doug's house recently, and we were writing a song a couple weeks ago, and we wrote a Christmas song.
Nice.
And I was asking him about Cindy Walker. Have you ever met her? And he said that he did. And at the time, she actually handed him a cassette tape of a bunch of her songs and wanted the Riders in the Sky to cut one of her songs, to record one of her songs. And he said he's got that cassette tape somewhere lying around his cabin. And,
can you even imagine?
You need to dig that up. We need to hear that. I can't imagine what's. And he couldn't remember what songs were on there, but yeah, hopefully he'll dig that up.
What a gem!
Here,
man. I'm actually dying to ask you this question, because you wear Western everything so well, and I don't just mean like your look, honey. I mean you breathe it, and you're knowledgeable, and your heart is there, and it just oozes out of you in the best
Oh,
way.
wow. Thank
So,
you.
yeah, so I wanted to know, like, how did the West call to you? How did Western music grab Grace Adele?
Oh my goodness. Well, I love hearing all the compliments, and I can never get enough of it. Could I hear
I
a
got
little
you.
more?
I'll be your hype girl.
Well, a while back, I took a trip out west, and I had just written a string of Western songs, and they just didn't fit the project I was doing at the time. And when I got back to Nashville, I started finding the Riders in the Sky and the Time Jumpers, and one of my favorite guitar players is Homer Haynes, and he plays that sock rhythm type of guitar.
Yes.
And when I discovered Ranger Doug, he was the only other, Homer Haynes was the only person I'd seen playing this style of guitar.
Yeah.
And so I went to the Station Inn. There was a WSM show that the Riders in the Sky were playing, and I went up to Ranger Doug after the show and asked if I could take some lessons from him, and he said no. And then he said, but you could come over and we could hang out, and that fit my budget way better. So I was like, oh, right. And so, I've been getting together with him, and so that's been inspiring. And then that's just taken us into a love of discovering Western swing music, cowboy, cowgirl, Western swing music. We have a radio program called On the Trail with the Farmer and Adele on WSM.
Howdy, friends. This is Farmer Keenan
and Grace Adele, and you're listening to On the Trail with the Farmer and Adele, here on Route 650 Americana. Yep!
And we go down the avenue of a lot of Western swing and cowboy, cowgirl, Western music.
Fantastic.
So
you're doing the Lord's work.
Yeah, I mean, it's once you get into it, there's just so much to explore and learn about it. There's so much
every day. Every day, just going on a YouTube dig today. I was like, building my little playlist for later. Oh, gotta figure that out. Fantastic. Okay, so I know that gals in our scene get this question quite frequently. Give a new listener or someone who's not familiar with our style of music your elevator pitch for a new fan.
Well, first I would think I would need to get off the elevator because I can't stand elevators, except for the kind of elevator that's like a glass elevator and it's like shoots you up to the top. That that
like
I could.
The Wonkavator?
Yes. And it's it's just heading you out to Western swing territory. But instead, let's go out to the lone prairie and let's get on the trail on a couple of horses. And I would say, Western swing to me is fun. It's melody. It's there's a little bit of jazz in it. It's there's there's love songs, but there's also love songs of nature and love songs of the horse, of the animals, of
absolutely.
It's such an amazing. It's music you can dance to. It's what other kind of music is there that is this fun? Western swing is so much fun.
Exactly.
And the melody is the big part of it. I love Christmas music, and when I first discovered Western swing music, Christmas music to me is that element of jazz. There's like this warm feeling in it.
Yeah, nostalgia. There's comfort in that. I think people look to it, and there's a sweetness and a nostalgia that kind of takes us all back to someplace we've never been. But as Americans, there's this kind of iconography that is tied to it. That I think if people really realize that it's still being made and it's still being, done well and done, in a fresh way, I think there's a chance to bring some new ears into the fold.
Yeah, and Bob Wills, he was such an innovator. He really didn't. He wasn't so genre based. He would add, he would add horns. I know you have horns in your music. He
Oh
would
yeah,
add,
huge reason I've got horns.
Now, friends, our next number will be I Bet You My Heart, sung by the McKinney sisters.
I woke up one morning too early, remembered your hair was curly. I rolled over and then I dreamed of you again. I'll bet you my heart I love ya. I'll bet you my heart I love ya. I'll bet you my dreams are of ya. That's why I'm singing loud, I'm floating on a cloud. I'll bet you my heart I love ya. I leave your lady T.A., I leave your lady T.O. Lady T.A., I leave your lady T.O. I leave your lady T.A., I leave your lady T.O. Lady T.A., oh lady T. Sort of sentimental since I felt your touch so gentle. Oh, honey, take my word, I'm just a sissy bird, but I'll bet you my heart I love ya. I'll bet you my heart I love ya. I'll bet you my dreams are of ya. That's why I'm singing loud, I'm floating on a cloud. I'll bet you my heart I love ya. I leave your lady T.A., I leave your lady T.O. Lady T.A., I leave your lady T.O. I leave your lady T.A., I leave your lady T.O. Lady T.A., oh lady T.
He'd have he was the first to have a drummer out on the Opry stage.
Absolutely.
Told him he couldn't, and he just was really. It was more, to me, it was more about the music and trying to get the sound of swing and the sound of jazz and country. But there's such a difference between country jazz and jazz, and that's where I love to sit in the middle of that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think for us, our style is really geared toward entertainment. It's geared toward dancers. It's geared toward the party and the vibe. And, while I love jazz and that's what we play a lot of here, it's really geared toward that intellectual. We're going to spend some time. We're going to explore this melody, and these, it could get a little too much sometimes. So I do love that about Western swing, just the danceability of it. And it's just, I've never seen anyone hear it and not love it, a new listener.
Right.
So.
Right. There's the aspect of it that, a lot, if you're a new listener to Western swing music, and you're experiencing it for the first time, you may not know what it is at first, but you leave the show and you leave knowing that you liked it.
Yeah. Absolutely. Here's one that I love a whole lot, and it's an original by Farmer Adele, and this video was actually taken at Station N. So here we are with Singing on the Silver Sage.
1, 2, 3, 4.
The sun is setting past the canyon walls. Purple shadows creep as twilight falls. The moon begins its flight across the sky, bringing silver highlights to the sage tonight. A coyote sings a sagebrush serenade. Our harmonies are carried with the wind. A song that tells the world that all is right. Singing on the silver sage tonight.
and watch the moon light up the silver sage. Here across the sky, there's no such thing as time, bringing on the dawn and break of day. A coyote sings a sagebrush serenade. Our harmonies are carried with the wind. A song that tells the world that all is right. Singing on the silver sage tonight. Singing on the silver sage tonight. Singing on the silver sage tonight.
So I would like to congratulate you once again, girl, on your 2020 win for Ameripolitan Western Swing Female.
Well, thank
Fantastic.
you.
I see him back there. Well
Yes,
deserved.
that's right. I'm so proud that I've got the Western Swing Female of the Year 2019, and then 2020 we've got the Western Swing Band of the Year.
That's right.
Yep. Yeah, they're right on back there, and they Ameripolitan Awards. What fun! What fun!
Absolutely.
I know you've hosted. Well, that was the first time you hosted the Cindy Walker tribute show.
Yeah.
And Ameripolitan Awards has so many activities and so many venues and shows that are happening in such a variety of genres, and we're just mighty proud that we could be nominated and be a part of it. And I can't wait until we can get back to the weekender of.
Oh goodness, yeah.
It's so much fun.
It really is like Hillbilly Summer Camp in Valentine's week, but it's so fantastic to just get to come and see all our buddies from all over the world. It's almost not even about the awards. It's just about getting to sit in our slippers in the lobby and play music that we all love. Where else are you going to get 50, 200, however many of us down there playing Roy Rogers songs, and no one's going to be doing that. So yeah.
Right. And one of the best things of the Western swing genre and the Western swing women is that we love to jam together, and everybody is, it's a big family. It's just, I just can't wait to see everybody again and share this music. It's more of a hurrah for each other, and because we got to stick together.
Absolutely. Completely.
All right. Well, I'd like to share this next video, and it's Carolyn Martin. The very first time that I ever got to sing at the Station Inn, Carolyn Martin asked me to come up and sing San Antonio Rose, and she is just one of the queens of Western swing. So here she is,
real
Carolyn
cool
Martin.
lady.
Yep, yep.
Right or wrong, I'll always love you. Though you're gone, I can't forget. Right or wrong, I'll keep on dreaming. Still I wake with that same old regret. All along, I thought I'd lose you. Still I pray that you'd be true. In your heart, please just remember. Right or wrong, I'm still in love with you. keep on dreaming. Still I wake with that same old regret. All along I thought I'd lose you. Still I pray that you'd be true. In your heart, please just remember, right or wrong, I'm still in love with you.
Swing band.
So, final question. If you can give us a little brief summation, what's your hope going forward for Western Swing? Some projects coming up. Got anything you want to drop on us?
Well, yeah, we've been keeping ourselves busy. You know, our hope is getting out there and performing and playing, and you know, that's probably the best part of it. We've got a few recording projects coming up. Right now, we're releasing a new single every single month.
Awesome.
Singing on the Silver Sage, actually, we just released that this past month, and so that's out in all musical outlets that people love to download and get for yourselves. And that's a song that we co-wrote with Ranger Doug that we're mighty proud of. And we've got about 3 singles out right now, but all year we'll be putting a new single out each year. And,
I love that.
So, and we've been working on a Christmas record. We're hoping that will be out this Christmas. We'll see. And we also have a brand new kids show called Saddle Up with the Farmer and Adele. And we've got
love that. I saw that
videos.
video. Cutest thing ever.
We've got a bunch of videos on our YouTube channel, and it's a lot of fun for all the cowpokes out there. I've gotten feedback that not just cowpokes like these videos, that the whole family love them. So check that out.
Hey, Grace, would you go ahead and let us know about the video we're going to listen to and see right now?
Yes, this is Roy Lanham and the Whippoorwills. And if you don't know Roy Lanham and the Whippoorwills, they are phenomenal, outstanding. The Whippoorwills are known actually as a 5-piece band, 5-part harmony. They've got Doug Dalton on the mandolin. They have Gene Monbeck on the sock rhythm guitar, my favorite. They've got Rusty Rhodes on the upright bass, and sweet Georgia Brown. She's singing the beautiful harmonies and beautiful lead on this one. And don't forget Roy Lanham on the guitar. You might notice them from Dale Evans and Roy Rogers' Happy Trails. If you've ever heard the most popular version of Happy Trails, the Whippoorwills are actually singing all the harmonies behind them. And they had their own group and career for about a good 10 years. So check out the Whippoorwills.
Fantastic. Thanks so much.
Yep, yep.
I've had a hard life.
Hard life.
Hard life.
Hard life.
Hard life. Hard life. Who's got me? I guess I'll pack my troubles and drop them in the deep blue sea. Listen to me, baby. Hard life. Who's got me? Ain't no use to talking, they'll never let me be. I guess I'll pack my troubles, drop them in the deep blue sea. Every time I travel, blues are on my mind. I've had a lot of trouble, blues of every kind. I guess I'll always have them, these hard life blues of mine. I've had a hard life.
Hard life.
Hard life.
Hard life.
Hard life, hard life, who's got me? I guess
Yes, a backward trouble, dropping in the deep blue sea, blue sea, blue sea, blue sea.
Go ahead and tell us about your second choice.
Well, I found Dale Evans and Roy Rogers on The Muppet Show. Oh my goodness.
So much.
Could there be any bigger of a dream than that? So here's a medley of Dale Evans and Roy Rogers on The Muppet Show. You want to take a really close listen to one of my favorite songs in there, Hazy Mountain. It's beautiful. And I think you're going to enjoy this.
Okay, once again, ladies and gentlemen, Roy Rogers and Dale Evans.
There is something about the West, put your heart and your soul to rest, makes you feel you're really blessed.
Hazy Mountain.
There's a ceiling of blue above, and the trees peaceful as a dove. It's no wonder that people love
Hazy Mountain. When evening chores are over at our ranch house on the plain, and all I've got to do is lay around, I saddle up my pony and ride on down the trail to watch the desert sun go down. Riding down the canyon to watch the sun go down. A picture that no artist ever could paint.
Allá no Rancho Grande, allá no David B.
Who do you think you are, Gene Autry?
See them tumbling down, letting their love to the ground. Lonely but free I'll be found, drifting along with the tumbling tumbleweeds. Happy trails to you. Happy trails to you. Keep smiling until then. Who cares about the clouds if we're together?
Just sing a song and bring the sunny weather.
Happy trails to you till we meet.
Well, my hat's off to you all at Eclectic American Roots. We love what you're doing, and thank you so much for having me. And I love you so much, Cheryl. Thank you
I love you,
so much
darling.
for inviting me.
Hey, everybody. If you like Western swing as much as I do, you're in heaven today, because this great group of people that put all this together have really outdone themselves. we've still got Katie Shore coming up and another segment from Big Sandy. So that's why I think it's really worth your while to take a minute and drop a donation in the old virtual tip jar and help these musicians out, because every dime goes right to them.
Please welcome my next guest, Katie Shore of Asleep at the Wheel. How's it going, Katie?
Hey, Cheryl. It's really good to see you.
Oh, good to see you. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for
carving out a little time for us in your busy schedule. You just got back off the road, didn't you?
Just a quick little trip up to Michigan and back.
Awesome.
It was more in the air than on the road.
I bet it felt good to just get out there in front of an audience, though, right?
Yeah, it was very small, limited capacity, but it was fun. And it was really nice to play with the guys. So
good. You know, it's a little medicine for the soul.
Absolutely.
Alrighty. So we've got a few questions for you today. Thanks again for sitting down and chat with us. We've got a lot of our girlfriends on the show over the next couple days. It's going to be real fun to get everyone's little sound bites about Western swing and what it means to all of us. So another a little chatting point we were using as a starting point is, if there was a Cindy tune that you wish you had written, which one and why? Or not even why. We don't even need a why, right?
There are a couple. You Don't Know Me, for sure, I think would be at the top of the list. That is such a timeless and classic tune. And it's like the perfect song. It's the emotion and the imagery and the simplicity of it. I think she just nailed it. Also, Going Away Party is one of my very favorite tunes that she wrote. Yeah, absolutely. That dreams don't make noise when they die. I mean, it's like that line, every time I hear it, it's like the first time I've ever heard it. It just cuts me straight to the core. And if you can do that in a song, it's incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's it's something we all kind of are drawn to, the simplicity, just the eloquent simplicity of that line. It always just catches in my breath when I hear that line. Every time I could be cleaning the house and it comes on, I go,
takes your breath away. I know, it's so sad. It's like the saddest
but so simple, like
your life. I know. I think we all love
songs
sad
we
songs.
wish we'd written.
I know.
Yeah. So I feel like I don't even need to ask you this, Texas girl, but how did the West call to you, or Western music?
I think, I was about 5 or 6 when I started playing fiddle, and my granddad played the fiddle, and he would come over and play Faded Love and San Antonio Rose, and that's why I wanted to play the fiddle. And apparently when I was kind of a ham when I was a kid, and I told my parents I wanted to play the kind of music you could clap your hands and stomp your feet to. And that was it. It's like dance music and, I don't know, fiddle bass has always drawn my ear. And I think Western swing is pretty rock and roll too for what it is. You know?
Absolutely. Hey, kudos to you for actually following through on your childhood dream. Like, how many people wake up and go, I did actually become an astronaut, right? So good for you.
I'm not that good at math. That's all.
Girl, that's why we chose music. Okay. That's fine. So I'm going to use this actually as a segue to go into one of your influence tracks. Tell me a little bit about this tune.
Cindy Cash Dollar is one of my heroes, my musical heroes, and the fact that this is it's a classic tune, but she did it with Herb Remington, who was her hero and, an obvious legend in Western swing music. So I feel like it was a really special moment between the two of them. And I've had that, Johnny Gimbel is a huge hero of mine. And I had a few really just shining moments getting to jam with him that I never forgot and that really helped me later in life and influenced me. And I think hearing that in a hero of mine is a really special thing. So,
absolutely. Thank you for picking her. Big fan of Cindy's. So please enjoy. Alrighty. So if you were talking to a new fan or someone who maybe wasn't necessarily clued into what Western swing music is, give them your little elevator pitch, kind of where to start and why you love it so much.
I would say that this music is timeless because it's everything all in one. It's like the blues, it's rock and roll, it's swing, it's danceable, it's sad, it's happy. I mean, it's like everything sort of tied up in this one sort of niche. It's pretty niche, you know, but it's music you don't ever forget. And I've seen people of all ages having a really great time with this music, and it doesn't really matter who's playing it. It's just the spirit of the style, you know, I think really gets people. If they're willing to listen, you know, it seems like it doesn't take that much to appreciate Western swing.
Absolutely. I've never met a person who, upon hearing Western swing, decides they don't like it. It can't be done. It's infectious.
Okay.
All right, girlie, can you tell us about this COVID song you have out right now with our buddy Ray?
Yes. Ray wrote a COVID tune, a quarantine called I Love You, Don't Touch Me, and it just highlights the fact that we got to stay 6 feet away, you wear masks, and the people that you love the most, just wait a minute. Don't hug them just yet. I love you, don't touch me. Check it out.
As I sit here alone, sheltering in place, I miss my sweet love and imagine her face. As the days go by, boy, I miss her so. But as I know you know, I'm not supposed to go. But days turn to weeks, and finally we agree to meet somewhere tonight. I open my arms for a big old hug. This is what she says to me.
I love you, don't touch me, that's the way it's gonna be. Well, I love you, don't touch me, stay 6 feet away from me. Well, I love you, don't touch me, it's the new reality. I love you, don't touch me.
That's what she said to me. Oh, yeah, honey, I just want to... So yesterday I called my mom to see if she was fine. I bought some food and some toilet paper. I stood in some real long lines. I wore a mask and did what was asked to make sure she got fed. I opened my arms for a hug and a kiss, and this is what she said.
I love you, don't touch me, that's the way it's gonna be.
No, really?
I love you, don't touch me, stay 6 feet away from me.
Come on now.
I love you, don't touch me, it's the new reality. I love you, don't touch me.
That's what she said to me.
I love you, don't touch me, that's the way it's gonna be.
Why'd you have to be that way?
Well, I love you, don't touch me, stay 6 feet away from me.
Well, I got a mask.
I love you, don't touch me, it's the new reality. I love you, don't touch me.
That's what she said to me. Oh, come on, honey. I mean, come on. We've been married for like 30 years. I mean, whatever. I mean, I washed my hands twice.
All right, lady, I've got a couple more for you. What is your hope for the future of Western swing, personally, and maybe in a broader scope? What are you seeing happening out there? You're the one on the road a bunch, so.
Oh man, I'm inspired. You know, I love it when younger people are into the music and they just come to the show and have a good time. I think the future of Western swing is just anybody that's going to listen to it. I think that's going to go on forever, you know, and there are these little younger, I say little, I feel like a grandma these days, but younger generations are coming along and they're just like little phenoms. And the internet, and, you know, we didn't have these tools when we were growing up playing and learning.
Yeah.
And now it's so accessible. And I think it's, again, so timeless that, you know, I think people just need to hear it, and whatever instrument they're learning or whatever they add in their playlist, you know, like sprinkle some of that in there, and I think you're better off for it. And I think that's going to continue to happen forever, you know, and some people, maybe it catches harder than others, but I think across the board, it's just a great style. You know?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's hard.
It's like spoken language. The more you hear it, the more it catches, the more it kind of gets in your ear. So the more we can get it playing on the radio or just out there, the more people will, you know, kind of tune into it. But I know you're working a lot with the youth, right? Didn't you just, you did some teaching lately? Did you do a camp or something?
I did. It was actually an adult camp.
Fantastic.
But, yeah, a group of fiddle players of all levels. Everyone was super talented and did a great job. And we just, you know, picked some swing tune, Western swing in particular, and worked on them and had a great weekend. It was all virtual, which is exciting and also crazy because you're so used to sitting knee to knee. You know, this a lot of this tradition of music was passed down generation to generation, and literally sitting knee to knee with someone on the fiddle or the guitar and playing and singing in the same room. And it closed. Can you imagine? Do you remember when we used to be able to be in a room together? I know. It's so crazy. But that's what this is. It's like this music is an energy, and I think. Did
you find that challenging? Because I know so much of it for me is in that jam setting is, like you said, it's palpable. It's in the air. You can't mimic that always online. Totally. So I know it's difficult in that sense. But I'm such a visual person. If I'm going to be at a camp, I want to get that, like, I want to look at your hands. So did you find that difficult? Are you having to aim? You know,
I had a setup. I had a backdrop, and I was able to angle it to where you could see the whole entire fiddle. I'm not set up like that right now.
I know it's very important, and I know it's something that you and I benefited from, our heroes kind of tossing the rope back, you know, and inviting us in to the jams to sit up on stage or hey, yeah, I'll come sing that duet with you. Yeah. So the more we can get involved in that way, I love it. I love seeing that. So yeah, I love all those stories of the up and comers. All right, Katie, I want to ask you a little bit about your influences, predominantly early Western swing. It's as a Texas native, I'm sure you've got some names for us. If you want to recommend some folks, go do some listening homework and check it out on YouTube. I know we had talked actually about Louise Rowe. She was actually bassist for Bob Wills, correct?
Yeah.
You gotten to know her at all over the years? Got any stories, or what's life like on the road from then and now as a woman in Western swing?
Oh man, I have not really gotten to meet her, spend much time, but I don't know. I've had the pleasure of interacting with women on the Quavy sisters. Our three sisters that play the fiddle, Western swing style, and I've known them since we were kids, and I always get excited when we meet up with them.
They're so fantastic.
Yeah.
Those harmonies.
So good. And Cindy Cashdollar's been on tour with us, which is amazing. We had a clarinet player and saxophone player, Chloe Fiorenzo, and she's incredible. And everybody that's been in the wheel, I think, you know, I'm a woman on the road with 10, 12 other guys, but I don't feel like it. I just feel like I'm part. It's like it's about the music, and it doesn't, you know, it's like I try so hard to play better than I did the night before for myself, you know, and as a serious musician, you know, which I think we all are, that's the goal, you know, and you get into sort of these, there are some mundane bits, there are some autopilots in the show, but I think the goal is to work past that and make a little moment count for something. So I take it seriously. I think the guys in the band take me seriously. I mean, I'm cutting up just as hard as they are. We all give each other such a hard time. The other day I had a knock on my green room door, and I opened it, and our bass player blasted me with a Nerf gun right before the show, you know, and it's just, it's so fun, and we have a good time. And, you know, I think it's important. I think it's just a balance, you know. I think having a female in a Western swing band is really great, but it's the harmony, you know, with the male voice, or with 2 or 3 women in a band, or you know, a couple, you know, we have 2 men and a woman voice, you know. So I I think that balance is just a really beautiful thing. And I think when you're trying hard and you come together and you swing together, you know, you're on the road and you go through these experiences together, and it's like we've all made it out on the other side and we all love each other. So I think that's a really helpful ingredient in any band. We all know famous bands that's not been the case with.
Yeah.
But I don't know. We're a part of the wheel. The current band is just an iteration of Asleep at the Wheel, and it's just another chance for generations to keep playing this music together, you know?
Absolutely.
And to help introduce it to other people. So,
yeah.
I don't know.
Thank God for the wheel. I mean, without the wheel and you know, Vince Gill and George Strait, all those folks who were doing Western swing tracks in the 80s and 90s, who knows how long it would have taken me to find it, you know?
Yeah.
So I think it's absolutely important. So thank you, darling, for being out there and being a voice for the girls on the road in Western swing. Probably, frankly, the most active one right now. So thank you
Well, I appreciate that.
keeping the spirit alive, keeping the party moving.
I love it. This has been such a crazy year, and you know, we're all going to come through on the other side, but I look forward to the day we can all dance together and jam and, you know, just have a good old time. That's what this music is about for the most part in general too. I think Western swing is just about life, and it's wonderful. So let's do it soon. Hopefully.
Yes. Love you, darling. Thanks so much for joining us today. All right. Take care.
I'm back. Hope I didn't miss anything. Okay, let's take a look at the Quaby sisters. Okay, the Quaby sisters are a trio of women who have been out on the road away from their Texas homes for almost 20 years now. And even though they're veterans now of the Americana scene, they still bring a youthful energy to their brand of progressive Western swing. Speaking of brands, here's a word from our sponsor.
For 100 years and counting, there is only just one store with more products and low prices than you've ever seen before. Their Texas friendly service makes you feel like a king. Our H-E-B has all the things that make you want to sing. Every which way I look, I see your face before me. Every which way I talk, I always call your name. I'm walking down a one-way street, trying to forget, but after all these lonely years, I find I love you yet. Every which way I turn, it seems you're right beside me. Every which way I go, it seems you're going too. I hope someday you'll realize our love was meant to be. And every which way you love, I hope that love is me. For me, every which way I talk, I always call your name. I walk down one street, try hard to forget, but after all these lonely years, I find I love you yet. Every which way I turn, it seems you're right beside me. Every which way I go, it seems you're going too. I hope someday you'll realize our love was meant to be. And every which way you love, I hope that love is me. Every which way you love, I hope that love
1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
Yep.
A cowboy's life is simply to rope and ride out west of the Great Divide, or so they say. What they didn't say, you drink belly wash every day until you're old and gray with lice-ridden men. So they tell me they wish that they could shoot a gun. So they tell me they could ride all day in the sun and have fun where old paint goes out to run. He'll A cowboy's life is full of sorrow and strife. It's cut with a rusty knife, and there's just no end. It's 110, you're out of water again. Some buzzards are circling in, and your horse just died. So they tell me they wish that they could shoot a gun. So they tell me they could ride all day in the sun and have fun where old paint goes out to run.
I do like that. Ameripolitan Western swing artist Big Cedar Fever featuring Georgia Parker. There's something about Georgia's laid-back vocal approach that I find really charming, very appealing, lovely. Georgia Parker. Okay, these next two artists are Ameripolitan Award winners. Starting first with Carolyn Martin, who's a multiple Western Swing Hall of Fame Award winner. Well, let's just give it a listen. Carolyn Martin.
Mr. Bandman, hey, can you spare a few? You see, I've got a little favor that I'd like to ask of you. There's a dream across the dance floor. He's making eyes at me. You can help me win his heart. If you'll swing that melody, swing on. Don't let the music stop. Swing on. We just might dance until we drop. Tonight could finally be my chance to two-step into true romance. If music be the food of love, swing on. Don't need the moonlight. We got the neon glow. Don't need a quiet corner table or a tune that's soft and low. Just a shuffling of our boot heels as we circle round the floor. And every time that rhythm stops, it leaves us wanting more.
Darling, can't you see I'm no good without you? Take my arms, I want to lose them, and take my lips, I'll never use them. 'Cause your goodbye left me with eyes that cry. I know that I'm no good without you. You took the part that once was my heart, so why not take all of me? Oh, talk to me. Can't you see I'm no good without you? Now take my arms, I want to lose them, and take my lips, I'll never use them. 'Cause your goodbye left me with eyes that cry. I know that I'm no good without you. You took the part that once was my heart, so why not take all of me? Baby, why not take all of me? Thank you.
And right there to wrap up my video selections for the afternoon, showstopper Dawn Sears, who was a member of the Grammy-nominated Western swing group The Time Jumpers. Dawn won the Metropolitan Award in 2014 and sadly passed away later that year. A little tribute to the great Dawn Sears. All right, I'm going to hand it back over to the man who brings us all together on these Sunday afternoons, Christopher Burkhardt. But before I do, thank you so much for tuning in today, friends. I hope you've enjoyed the show. Thanks to all of our guests and to my pal, Cheryl Desiree, for doing a fantastic job of hosting. I'll see you down the line. See you next week. Take care now. I love you.
Thanks for joining our musical caravan today as we traveled the trail of the women of Western swing. It was part nostalgia, part celebration, and it was all female. Please share our shows on YouTube at StellarJAX channel, and remember our musicians appreciate your generous contributions to the virtual tip jar. See you next Sunday as Eclectic American Roots continues.